Germany aims to be climate neutral by 2045. If this ambitious goal is to be met, greenhouse gas emissions such as carbon dioxide will need to be substantially reduced in the years ahead. That's why attention is increasingly turning to one tiny element. All around the world, hydrogen is viewed as a major topic for the future. It's considered a key element for the energy transition, however producing it is extremely energy intensive. Is it really worthwhile? And what contribution can such a little molecule make to overcoming the climate crisis? Water contains a lot of energy. Chemically, it's a compound of hydrogen and oxygen. In this bonded form, hydrogen, which has the chemical symbol H, is the most abundant chemical element in the universe. Its potential for solving the climate crisis is not new, and has been the subject of Professor Dr. Leitenbermer's work at the Wuppertal Institute for many years.
Hydrogen is currently a very important topic for the energy future, especially for the industrial sector. It's the focus of much discussion right now. However, it has to be said that we've actually been exploring the topic of hydrogen for more than 20 years in all manner of contexts. But right now, it really is moving beyond the concept stage and beyond many experimental stages to take the next step.
Above all, it's the many possible applications for hydrogen that make it a beacon of hope for a climate-neutral future.
Hydrogen also provides a link to sector coupling. It's important for the energy transition and the mobility transition as well as for industry. That means we can use this little molecule to achieve many things at once.
Unlike electricity, hydrogen is also easy to store, so it really is an all-rounder. At the Fraunhofer Institute in Oberhausen, applications for hydrogen in industry are being extensively investigated and implemented in cooperation with industrial companies.
On the one hand, it can be used as an energy carrier, so it can be integrated into the existing energy system both relatively quickly and at limited effort and cost. The other option is to use it as a raw material, that is to say, industrial processes can be converted to hydrogen, thereby taking carbon out of the equation. The best example is in steel manufacturing, which can be switched from a heavily carbon-driven process to a hydrogen-driven process, cutting carbon or CO2 emissions by up to 90%. So hydrogen has enormous leverage here. It's a similar story in the cement and lime industries, which are exactly those sectors where huge quantities of CO2 are still being produced at the moment.
In the industrial sector, many companies aim to become climate neutral in the near future with the help of hydrogen. It's also used as an energy carrier and basic building block. The chemical industry, for example, uses hydrogen to make products like fertilizers. Shell in the Rhineland has identified yet more possibilities.
In a feasibility study with the state of North Rhine-Westphalia, we're now looking more closely at another field of application. Can hydrogen obtained via renewable means also be used to produce synthetic fuels or power to liquid, power to X? And what conditions must be met for something like this to be successful? A synthetic fuel of this kind could then perhaps also provide a basis for aviation fuel in the future. In other words, CO2, which is generated in processing plants and so on, or could even be captured from the air, could be combined with hydrogen to produce kerosene to power flight.
Hydrogen, therefore, has the potential to replace fossil fuels. However, there's one crucial difference in the prerequisites. Unlike coal and gas, hydrogen cannot simply be extracted, it must first be produced.
In water electrolysis, electricity is used to split water into oxygen and hydrogen. For every kilogram of hydrogen, 8 kilograms of oxygen are produced, plus heat, which is also released. And that's how we generate hydrogen. So, producing hydrogen requires energy.
Hydrogen is color-coded depending on how this energy is obtained. Gray hydrogen is based on fossil fuels. When heated, methane and water vapor react, releasing hydrogen, which is then captured and stored. However, this process emits CO2. The initial production stages for blue hydrogen are the same as for gray. CO2 is also generated here, however this gas is captured at source and stored underground, for example. So it doesn't escape into the atmosphere. Green hydrogen, by contrast, doesn't produce any direct emissions of CO2 or other greenhouse gases whatsoever. It's the end product of a water electrolysis process powered entirely by renewable electricity. Of course, this is the preferred process. However, to achieve the transition to hydrogen as quickly as possible, it may also be necessary to use blue hydrogen. That's because shifting the entire economy to a climate-neutral footing will require huge quantities of hydrogen quickly. Quantities that cannot be produced using local renewable energies alone. But in the long term, hydrogen will ultimately need to be green if we're to achieve climate neutrality. Producing hydrogen isn't the only challenge. For industrial regions like North Rhine-Westphalia, it's already clear today that the quantity of hydrogen needed cannot be produced locally. That's why using hydrogen requires an extensive transport network. This is the next obstacle.
What I'm noticing at the moment is a problem gaining acceptance for hydrogen infrastructure. And I think that's an important point. No matter where we produce hydrogen, we have to do one of two things. Either we take the energy to the place where we produce the hydrogen, which means having to lay huge cables. That's where we're meeting resistance today. Or we do it the other way around, which is to say we produce hydrogen at the location where electricity is available, which today is often in coastal areas. But then we have to transport the hydrogen. That means that in either case, we have a mismatch between the place where we need hydrogen and the place where we have enough renewable energy. And we have to try to bring the two together somehow. I think that's where the problem lies, actually creating the infrastructure to transport either electricity or hydrogen.
The initial approaches to building hydrogen infrastructure are based on a mixture of transport by ship, some by truck, and a Europe-wide pipeline network. In many regions, existing natural gas pipelines can be used. However, this is not possible everywhere.
If we don't succeed in building hydrogen infrastructure in North Rhine-Westphalia too, the companies here will lose out in the medium term because others will then produce these basic materials using climate-neutral techniques. And then the industry will move away, which could naturally have consequences for further production in the state. So it's an important economic factor, and that's why hydrogen is vital not only for the energy transition and for climate neutrality in NRW, but also for making our industrial structure competitive and climate neutral in the long term.
To resolve outstanding issues like these, universities and institutes are carrying out intensive research, and processes are being developed to make the production of hydrogen affordable. For example, at the Westphalian Energy Institute,
if you calculate the storage requirements, you'll discover very quickly that they are so vast that the costs of storage in a battery system and the resources involved are clear arguments against trying to do this using battery technology alone. Instead, it's hydrogen that's fundamental to the energy transition. I would even say that the energy transition cannot succeed without hydrogen. So hydrogen will be a storage medium of the future.
There are still obstacles to be overcome in terms of acceptance and infrastructure. Nevertheless, hydrogen is indispensable in the fight against climate change. For the transformation of the industrial sector in particular, green hydrogen holds unique potential. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you like this video, hit the like button, also subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you never miss an update.